Hello and welcome to Eva's House of Spirit. I'm Eva, and today I want to talk a little bit about Satanism and Satanists. And I'm just going to say right now, if you're a person who looks at them in judgment and you're all like, oh my god, they're so bad, maybe this isn't the video for you. If you're going to start thumping Bible verses at me, very narrow-minded, and not just listen, or just maybe consider something outside of your view of things, then maybe this isn't the video for you. Now, I know that I'm probably going to get some flack for this from some people, but you know what, that's okay, because I don't expect everybody to agree with my opinion. That's what Eva's House of Spirit is all about. Having your own opinion, but also, learning and sharing, considering the opinions of others as you find your own personal way. I don't make videos to try and tell people what to think or to try and convert people like, you must believe what I believe. That's not what I'm here to do. I just share my point of view, take it or leave it, that's all. Anyway, so I want to talk about Satanists because, I don't think, and Satanism, because I don't think a lot of people actually talk about it. I think maybe there's two reasons for this. The first reason is probably because Satanists and Satanism have such a bad sort of reputation. People look at them like, oh my god, they're so evil and blah, 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 blah. And there's this whole preconceived notion when people hear the term Satanism or Satanists or any kind of terms like that, people have sort of a preconceived notion about it. And I don't think that's something that people should have. There's that. And I think another reason why there's not a lot of things, at least that I've seen, a lot of videos or a lot of talk about Satanism from people that are not Satanists, in a constructive way, is because, especially in the alternative faith community for the most part, is that I think a lot of people in, alternative faiths, and I say alternative faiths meaning, magical and spiritual paths that are not associated with mainstream religions, like anything, for example, like Wiccans or pagans of other sorts, or people in other sorts of paths that are not generally accepted by the majority of people. Not that alternative faith does not have many adherents. But yeah, I think a lot of people kind of shy away from the subject because people in those alternative sort of faiths or, magical spiritual sort of paths, generally speaking, they try not to associate too much with Satanists because of, again, the bad rap that Satanists sort of have, the preconceived notions that people have about them. See, in essence, when you really peel everything away, Satanism is about the self. It's about self-preservation, sort of elevation, being concerned more with your own thing. And sorry, I'm just referring to some little notes I made so I don't ramble. And just because someone chooses to focus on the self and to, kind of elevate themselves and kind of live for themselves, doesn't mean that that person is automatically evil. It is not evil, inherently to sort of center on your own, your own life and your own ego and your own mind, you know what I mean? Because that doesn't mean that you're inherently an asshole. It just means you're concerned with yourself. You're I liken it to, okay, take a lot of magical paths that talk about, transform yourself as part of your journey, is what a lot of them sort of say or sort of include in their, I don't want to say, how can I put it? Jeez. a lot of paths, they sort of recommend, that's what I was looking for, they recommend that you, as you make positive changes in the world, you also make positive changes in yourself, and therefore you are also better able to then contribute to the positivity in the world. Well, Satanists do that in their own way. It's like they look at it like they want to work on their own shit. You know what I mean? It's really not so much about anyone else. It's about themselves. And I don't see anything wrong with being like, I'm going to own my life, I'm going to be confident, I'm going to, command my fate, I'm going to be more concerned with things that concern me. I don't see anything wrong with that. And I've also met plenty of Satanists that are not assholes. They just, if it doesn't concern them, they don't worry about it. It's all about themselves, and there's nothing wrong with caring about yourself, about giving a shit about your own point of view, your own mind. There's nothing wrong with that inherently. It's just, you do you. That's the basic philosophy. However, I think there are some people that come to Satanism and they sort of, again, have a little bit of a preconceived notion about it. And there are some out there who get so hung up on sort of pushing the envelope and just doing everything they can to piss off Christians and piss off like people in major religions. And to me, that I do think that the ones that approach Satanism in that way, they are not really being true to themselves. And I'll tell you why. Because what does it matter to anybody what the hell those people do? No, a lot of us don't like the ones that choose to be Bible thumpers, that choose to be narrow-minded, that choose to say things like, you're going to hell. Like, no, we don't like them, but if you're going to live a life that is completely reactionary to other people, then you're not being true to yourself. So I don't agree with these Satanists of that variety that come into it and all they do is just everything they can to piss off, very right-wing sort of religious people. I think if they wanted to be more true to their path, maybe they should just honestly hey, be a self-preservationist. It's as simple as that. Fuck them people, that want to tell you what to do, what to think. You don't have to do any of that. What else did I want to say? Sorry, I'm just referring to my notes again. Another thing, back to the concept of just because someone's a Satanist does not mean they're an asshole. Just because someone chooses the way of self-preservation, self-elevation, self-focus, walking in confidence, walking as sort of assuming their own God form, you know what? If that's the path for someone, so be it. And I don't see anything wrong with that. It's not the way for everyone, but it's the way for some people. And just because someone chooses to do that does not mean that all of a sudden they're going to abandon every personal moral or ethic they have. It doesn't mean that their entire journey is now going to be about harming everyone and everything. And I think people that really seriously are educated on the path of Satanism, you're never going to find those people standing around the goat, like cutting it in pieces. Like it's not like that whole Hollywood, like, ooh, kind of, that's really not what it's about. Unfortunately, I don't have a Satanist right now in my house that I could be like, hey man, come on camera, I want to interview you. Tell me about what it's like to be a Satanist. I am not a Satanist myself, but I do know a handful of Satanists that are decent people. There's nothing like scary or creepy about them. A lot of them, honestly, don't even dress in a way that you could pick them out on the street and be like, oh my God, that guy, No, you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. But again, they're more about it's sort of a way, I guess you could sort of call it almost like a humanist philosophy. You know, it's not even about harm, evil, darkness, ooh ah, which by the way, darkness does not necessarily mean evil anyway. It's not even about that kind of stuff. I think people should really just open their mind and understand that, hey, if somebody chooses to be a Satanist, that doesn't mean that they're automatically going to be some evil person, and it doesn't mean that they're going to be an asshole. It doesn't mean that you know, they're, oh my God, there's something wrong with them or anything like that. It's not like Hollywood. And that's really why I'm coming on here today, is just to remind people that, you know, different strokes for different folks. And you're going to get people that just happen to choose a more humanist, more self-preservational, more self-elevational way. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, some people, like Anton Szandor LaVey, I really think, I mean, I've read some of his books in the past, and I feel like his method of approaching Satanism with this highly ritualized, like, oh, use a chick naked on the altar and let's, you know, put our altar in the west as opposed to the east because we want to do the opposite of Christian. Like, he kind of missed the point. You know, I feel that he kind of missed the point. Again, I really believe it shouldn't be about pissing people off. I think if you find yourself in any path doing things to piss off the people that just don't agree with your path, and that's what you centrally focus yourself on, and that's what you're reacting to all the time, I don't think you're fully embracing your path. I think you need to look deeper than that. It's really about you. And this is like, hey, even if you're in a path that is not necessarily a more humanist kind of path, still, like, you shouldn't be reacting to other people. It should be about your own shit. To say, I mean, to put it really blunt, like, it should be about you and your journey. It shouldn't be about, let me do stuff to get a rise out of these other people. You know what I'm saying? And if it is, well, maybe you might want to think about that a little bit. Like, why am I even letting this get to me? Am I really being my truest self? So, there's that. Anyway, I'm not going to draw out this video real super duper 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 long. I think I'm going to end it about here. If there are any Satanists out there who happen to subscribe to my channel or who happen to see this, I would love to hear, honestly, your point of view on the things that I have said. What do you think? Like, do you honestly feel that Satanism has gotten a really bad rap and that a lot of people just don't understand it and there's a lot of preconceived notions? Like, do you believe that as I do? Or what do you think? Or what is your experience as a Satanist? I'm honestly open to hearing about it because I think a lot of people just kind of turn off and tune out as soon as they hear that term Satanist. Or the terminology, the words, like, you know, the words such as Satan, Satanist, you know, Satanism, they just automatically turn off a lot of people. And I don't think that they should. I think that, hey, you don't have to do that if it's not for you, but maybe don't judge something until you have an understanding of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm kind of trying to get at, and I'm just trying to say maybe more people should be aware that just because something is humanist does not mean that that's inherently evil. You know, not everyone will walk in a path that centers around worshiping divinity. I mean, there's even Satanists that do not actually worship Satan. Some of them, from what I understand, just use the term Satanism to represent their humanist approach. Now, granted, some of them use the term Satanism because they are rejecting the mainstream religions, mainly Christianity, and they're just saying, like, I stand outside of that. I stand for myself, therefore I use this term. And I can understand how they're using it to differentiate themselves outside of that mainstream. But again, I feel that that's a tactic to sort of piss off other people, and it's a reaction. But then, hey, you know, who am I to say what someone should call themselves and why? Regardless, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, feelings, anything on this subject, I would love to hear from you in the description below. I'm not in the description, oh my god, in the comments below. And yeah, I really think that people should, you know, talk more about Satanism as it is, not as they think it is, because I think the first step to everybody having a more enriching experience is if we kind of break down the barriers of division between ourselves, no matter what path we each follow. Like, it's not to say you have to do as others do, but maybe at least if you understand things outside of your personal sphere, you know, outside of your, I think paradigm is the word I'm looking for. If you can understand things outside of that and just kind of like come to a knowing to a degree about that, maybe people will clash less. So yeah, this is my video for now. Have a great day. Blessed be and ashe. And till next time, stay awesome. Bye-bye for now.